Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing paper 1, variant 3 for O-level maths for major in 2025. I've already uploaded the video for the second variant for paper 1. You can check it out at the link above. And the coming days, I'll also be uploading the second and third variant for paper 2 as well. So let's start with this one and see how difficult or easy this one was. 0.07 as a fraction, so very simple. We move the decimal 2 places to the right side. When you move it 2 places to the right side, what happens is that we add 2 zeros with the 1 in the denominator. So 0.07 becomes 7 over 100, which is your decimal as a fraction. Then write 16 over 25 as a decimal. For this, what we can do is we can divide 16 by 25. 16 is smaller than 25, so it's not going to come in the same times table. So we add a decimal over here and a 0 with 16. So now we need to see how many times 160 comes into the 25 times table. We do 25 times 5, that's 5, 2, and that's 125. I think we can go higher. 25 times 6, 0, 3, 2, 6 are 12 plus 3, 150. So 25 times 6 is 150. That gives us 10. Again, add another 0 because 10 is smaller than 25. So 25 times 4 is 100. So 16 over 25 is 0.64 as a decimal. When going from a fraction decimal, you can also just divide the numbers and see what the answer is. Then the favorite ice cream flavors of 20 children are shown. We have to complete the frequency table. So we have 3 flavors, vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate. So let's see how many vanillas we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. For the 5, you always cross it out, and then 6 one is the new. So 6, 7. So whenever we have 5, bars for the frequency, the 5th one is you crossing the 4 out, and then the 6th one you start counting again separately. Then strawberry is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and cross it out. Then for chocolate, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is your answer. Then it says AB is a straight line. Work out the value of x. So angles on a straight line always add up to 180, which means x plus 37 is going to equal to 180. So x is going to be 180 minus 37, which is going to give us 143 degrees. That's your answer. Then PQR is an isosceles triangle with PQ equals to PR. Angle QPR is given as 46. Work out the value of R. So if these two lengths are equal, these two angles are also going to be equal. So sum of angles in a triangle is 180. Once again, sum of angles for a straight line is also 180, and sum of angles for a triangle is also 180. If it's sum of angles for a quadrilateral, then the angles add up to 360. So over here, 180 equals to y plus 46. 180 minus 46 equals to 2y, which is going to be 134. Divide 134 by 2, and y is going to be 67 degrees. That's your answer. Then find the value of 5x plus 3y when x equals to 4 and y equals to negative 2. Very simple. You just have to substitute the value of x and y in the equation. So that's 20 minus 6. When you multiply a positive and a negative integer, the result is always negative. So that gives us 14. Then write down the reciprocal of 7. Reciprocal is basically you flipping the term. So if it's 7, when we flip it, it's going to be 1 over 7. Why? Because every whole number has a 1 as a denominator. So when you flip this, it turns into 1 over 7. That's your answer. Then we have to write an irrational number. You can write any irrational number. You can write root of 7. That's irrational. Irrational number is a number that cannot be written as a fraction. So you can come up with anything. Then this point A, B, and C are plotted on the grid. On the grid, plot and label the point D, 3, 6. So X is 3 and Y is 6. Remember, coordinates are ordered pairs. So the first value is always the X value and the second value is always the Y value. So 3, 6, that's your D value. Then it says find the equation to line BC and AB. So BC is this line. So that's passing through the y-axis. So that means x equals to 0 is for BC. Then for AB, the y-intercept is at 3. So if you use the slope-intercept form, y equals to mx plus c. C is 3 because c represents the y-intercept. For m, we can pick 2 points and find the slope. So if I pick this one and this one, slope is going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Or you can also use rise over run. So if I talk about rise over run, this is our run, this is our rise. So rise, run. So for our run, we're going, if we go from A, we're going 2 units to the left, and then we're going 4 units up. So that means it's going to be positive 4 and negative 2. Once again, we go 2 units to the left side from A. So if we're going towards the left side, it's going to be negative. And since we're going 4 units up from there, that's going to be positive. So whenever we go towards the left side or down, it's negative. If you're going up or to the right, that's positive. So that's going to be negative 2. That's your slope. If we're using the first formula, you can just pick the coordinates of these 2 points. So that's going to be m equals to 1 minus negative 3 over 1 minus 3. So that's 4 over negative 2, which is also negative 2. The answer is the same. You just have to pick that method, which is easy for you to understand and is less time consuming. So y equals to negative 2x plus 3 is your equation for AB. These are your answers. Then Asif is making a rectangular lawn 14 meters by 19 meters. He uses grass seed to make the lawn. The grass seed costs $0.34 for 1 meter square. By writing each number correct to one significant figure, estimate the cost of the seed needed. So 14 meters becomes 10 meters because you have to write correct to one significant figure, and 14 is closer to 10 compared to 20. 19 meters will become 20 meters because 19 meters is closer to 20 compared to 10. So now area is going to be 10 times 20, which is 200 meters square. Now the grass seed costs $0.34. So if you round 0.34 correct to one decimal place, that's going to be 0.3. So we have to figure out the cost. So that's going to be 200 times 0.3. If you move the decimal one place to the right, we cancel out a 0 over here. So that's going to be 20 times 3, and that's $60. That is your estimate cost of the seed needed. Then solve 4x minus 7 equals to 9. First, you're going to add 7 on both sides. So that's 4x equals to 9 plus 7, which is 16. And then we divide both sides by 4. So x equals to 4. That's your answer. The reason why we added 7 on both sides is because we want to get rid of the negative 7. And that can only be done if we add 7 on both sides. So once we do that, then we want to get rid of the 4 with x. So for that, you divide both sides by 4. So that gives us x equals to 4 as the final answer. We have to solve these simultaneous equations. So we have 5y minus 8x equals to negative 5 and 3y plus 2x equals to 14. I'm going to use the elimination method over here. To use the elimination method, what we need to do is we need to first decide which variable you want to eliminate. I want to eliminate x. To eliminate x, I need to see what are the coefficients of x in both the equations. In the first equation, the coefficient is 8. In the second one, it's 2. We need to make sure that the coefficients are equal, otherwise we cannot eliminate x. So we can easily turn 2 into 8 by multiplying the entire equation by 4. All of the terms will be multiplied by 4. So that's going to give us 12y plus 8x equals to 56. The other equation was 5y minus 8x equals to negative 5. Now, next step is to check what are the signs of x in both the equations. One x is positive and the other is negative, which means in order for us to eliminate it, we will add both the equations. Because 12y plus 5y plus 8x plus negative 8x equals to 56 plus negative 5. So that's 17y, 8x minus 8x is 0, and 56 minus 5 is 51. Y is going to be 51 divided by 17, which gives us 3. So y equals to 3. Now to find the x value, put it back into either of the equations. You can use the new equations or the old equations. Either way, you'll get the same answer for x. So if I use the original one, the first one, 5y minus 8x equals to negative 5. 5 times 3 minus 8x equals to negative 5. 15 minus 8x equals to minus 5. 15 plus 5 equals to 8x. That's 20. 20 divided by 8 is x, which simplifies to 5 over 2, just 2 whole number, 1 over 2. That is your value of x. So when y is 3, x is 2 whole number, 1 over 2. That's your answer. Then it says work out 8 divided by 0.1. So 8 over 0.1. If I move the decimal one place to the right side, remember every whole number has a decimal at its end. Whether they write it or not, 8 is the same as 8.0. So move the decimal one place to the right in the numerator as well. And that gives us 80 over 1. So 80 is your answer. Then 405 minus 1 over 2 times 304. So you first multiply the fractions because you're going to follow the rules of BIDMAS. So that's going to be 3 over 8. Now I'm going to subtract the fractions. When you're subtracting fractions with unlike denominators, we have to make the denominator same first. So first fraction gets multiplied by 8 and the second fraction gets multiplied by 5. We multiply both the numerator and denominator with the numbers, not just the denominators. So that's 32 over 40 minus 15 over 40, which gives us 17 over 40. We can't further simplify it, so this is your final answer. Then a spinner can land on red, green, yellow, or blue. The table shows the probability of each outcome. One of the values in the table is incorrect. Explain how you know this. So if you look at the probabilities in the table, let's add them up. The reason why we're going to add them up is because your sum of probabilities has to equal to 1. It cannot be greater than 1 or less than 1. So if we add them up, 0.35 plus 0.2 plus 0.15 plus 0.4. 0.35 plus 0.2 is 0.55 plus 0.15 is going to give us 0.7 and 0.7 plus 0.4 is 1.1. That is greater than 1. So sum of probabilities is greater than 1. That's why we know that one of the probabilities is incorrect. Then the probability of the spinner landing on blue is incorrect. Work out the correct probability of the spinner landing on blue. So simple. 1 would equal to 0.35 plus 0.2 plus 0.15 and then plus x because you're trying to find the probability of blue. So that is 0.35 plus 0.15 is 0.5 plus 2, 0.7. So 1 minus 0.7 equals to x, which is going to be 0.3. That is the correct probability of the spinner landing on blue. Always remember that in the table, when they give us probabilities, all of the probabilities will always add up to 1. Always. Then a green light flashes every 12 minutes. A red light flashes every 45 minutes. The two lights flash together at 9 a.m. Find the next time when the two lights will flash together. So for this, you need to find the LCM of 12 and 45. So you can use the factor tree method or the division method, whichever is easy for you to understand. If we use the division method, what we're going to do is basically we're going to find a number that divides both 12 and 45 if possible. So we know 12 and 45 both come in the 3 times table. So it's going to be 4, this is going to be 15. 12 divided by 3 is 4, 45 divided by 3 is 15. Now 4 and 15 don't come in the same times table. So 4 is just divided by 4, 15 comes as it is. And for 15, 15 is just divided by 15. So you can see, so now you can see that both the numbers have been completely divided because we've reached 1, 1. So your LCM is 3 times 4 times 15, which is 12 times 15. So if we multiply those, 10, 1, 6, placeholder 2, 1, 180. So 180 minutes is what we've got. After 9 a.m., that's 3 hours basically because 180 minutes equals to 3 hours. So 9 a.m. plus 3 hours. So 9 a.m. plus 3 hours is going to be 12 p.m. That is your final answer. So in these type of questions, remember you always have to find the LCM of the given numbers. And once you have that, you just add it to the existing time. So 3 hours added to 9 a.m. is 12 p.m. So that is the next time at which the light bulb will flash together. Then the vector PQ is given as 4, -2, and the position vector of Q is 2, 5. We're asking us to find the position vector of P. PQ is OQ minus OP. So that's going to be 4, -2 equals to 2, 5 minus OP. OP is going to be 2, 5 minus 4, -2, which is going to be -2 and 7. That's your position vector of point B. That's your position vector of point B. Then says the magnitude of PQ equals to square root of A. So for magnitude, what we do is we take the square root of the sum of the squares of the x and y value, basically like Pythagoras. So that's 16 plus 4, 20. So A is 20. That's your answer. Then we have a trapezium, and it says the diagram shows a trapezium with length in centimeters. Work out the area of the trapezium. So for the area of the trapezium, we need the perpendicular height and we need the parallel sides. So the formula is 1/2 times the height times the sum of parallel sides. A and B are your parallel sides and H is your perpendicular height. Never take the slant height, we need the perpendicular height. So 1/2 times 4 times 6 plus 9. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So 2 times 15, which is 30 centimeters square. That is your answer. Then it's saying work out the perimeter of the trapezium. For the perimeter, we need this length. So if you notice, the perpendicular height is going to be the same, which is 4. And if this length is 6 and this entirely is 9, this would be 9 minus 6, which is 3. So we have this right angle triangle over here. Two lengths are given. We need to find the third one. So you will use Pythagoras. This is x. So x squared equals to 4 square plus 3 square, which is 16 plus 9. That's 25. Take the square root on both sides, and x equals to 5 centimeters. So the perimeter is going to be, so this is 5, 4 plus 9 plus 5 plus 6. Perimeter is the boundary of the shape. So whatever length comes in the boundary, you will add that to get the perimeter. So 4 plus 9 is 13, 13 plus 11, because 5 plus 6 is 11, so that's 24. 24 centimeters is the perimeter of this trapezium. So you need to know how to split your shape into other shapes so that you can use that to find missing lengths. Over here, there was no other way to find the missing length because we don't have anything else. So when you split it into a rectangle and triangle, we have this right angle triangle. We have two lengths, so we can easily find the third length using Pythagoras. Then find the value of 3 cubed. 3 cube is basically 3 being multiplied to itself 3 times. So that's going to be 27. Then 2 to the power of x equals to 32. So we have to write 32 as the base of 2, and the power is going to be something. So for this, you need to know about like your basic indices, like, like what is the power of what, like square numbers, cube numbers, stuff like that. So we know 2 square is 4. 2 cube is 8. 2 to the power 4 is 16. So if we multiply 2 with 16, that's 2 to the power 5, and that's 32. So x is 5, because 2 to the power 5 gives us 32. Then it says simplify 3a to the power of negative 3 times 6a. For this, you need to know your rules of indices. Whenever we're multiplying similar bases, we will add the powers. So let's split this into 3 times a to the power of negative 3 times 6 times a. 3 times 6 is 18, and a to the power of negative 3 plus 1, because a has a power of negative 3 over here, and if there's no power written, that means the power is 1. So negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. So 18 a to the power of negative 2, or 18 over a square. Either way, your answer is correct. Remember the rules of indices. When similar bases are being multiplied, we add the powers. If similar bases are being divided, we subtract the powers. And if there's no power written, the power is assumed to be 1. Then work out 70% of 120. 70 over 100 times 120. 0 gets cancelled out. This 0 also gets cancelled out. So that's 7 times 12. That's going to be 84. Then find 8 as a percentage of 25. So that means we do 8 over 25 and then times it by 100. Whenever we're trying to find a percentage, we will times that thing by 100. If you want to write something, something is percent already, then the number is being divided by 100. A lot of kids get confused in this thing that when it says, work out this percentage of that, they end up multiplying it by 100. We divide over there, and when it says write something as a percentage, then you times it by 100. So 100 divided by 25 is 4. So 8 times 4, 32. That's your answer. Then it says in a sale, the original price of a jacket is reduced by 12%. The sale price of the jacket is given as 66. We have to calculate the original price of the jacket. So if the sale price is 66, that means it represents 88% of the original price. Since the price is reduced by 12%, that means the new price is going to be 88% of the old price. So let's use that. 66 times 100 divided by 88 equals to the original price. So 66 divided by 88, so that's 6, that's 8. 100, 6 and 8 can be divided. This is 3, this is 4. 4 25s are 100. So we have 3 times 25, which is your original price, and that's 75. $75 is your original price. Then the cumulative frequency diagram gives information about the marks scored by 80 students in an exam. Use the cumulative frequency diagram to complete the frequency table. The first two frequencies have been completed for you. So with the cumulative frequency graph, what we do is we take the maximum value of the intervals, and the y value is the cumulative frequency. So what we will do is we will write down the maximum values of our intervals first. So that's 55, 70, 90, and 100. 55, 70, 90, and 100. So we have to find their corresponding cumulative frequency values. 42, 44, 46, 48, 50, 52, 54. So 56. So 55 is going to be 132, 34, 35. 35. So over here for 55 getting 35. Then for 70, let's first mark 70 over here, 62, 64, 66, 68, 70. Then for 90, 82, 84, 86, 88, 90. That's 77. And for 100, it's 80. So we're going to use this cumulative frequencies to figure out the frequency values. So when we're going from cumulative frequency to frequency, we subtract the consecutive frequency values. Whereas when we're going from frequency to cumulative frequency, we add the consecutive frequency values. So 35 minus 15 is going to be 20. Then 60 minus 35 is going to be 25. 77 minus 60 is going to be 17. And 80 minus 77 is going to be 3. So as you can see, we're subtracting consecutive cumulative frequency values. Once again, we're trying to find the cumulative frequency, we add consecutive frequency values. When we're trying to find the frequency from cumulative frequency, we subtract the consecutive cumulative frequency values. 35 minus 10 is 20. 60 minus 35 is 25. 77 minus 60 is 17. And 80 minus 77 is 3. So these are your frequency values. The next question says, use the cumulative frequency diagram to find an estimate of the median mark and the 30th percentile. So for the median mark, total cumulative frequency is 80. So 80 divided by 2 is 40. So we draw a line from 40 on the y-axis towards the graph and then see what the corresponding x value is. That's coming out to be 58. So that is your median value. Then the 30th percentile, for the 30th percentile, you will find 30% of 80, which is going to be 24. So you draw a line from 24. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 48. So 48 marks is your 30th percentile. Then lastly, they want the number of students who scored 76 marks or more. 76 marks or more is, this is 70. So 72, 74, 76. Sixty-one, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66. So we will subtract 66 from 80 because they want the number of people who scored 76 marks or more. So that's 40. That's your answer. Then rearrange the formula to make x the subject. So right now, ax is the subject. So to make x the subject, first we cross multiply. So we get 5ax equals to 3x plus 2. Then we collect the terms with x on one side. So 5ax minus 3x equals to 2. The reason why we're collecting all of the terms with x on one side is because they want x to be the subject. So when we have all of the terms with x on one side, we can easily take x common. And we have 5a minus 3 in the bracket. So x is going to be 2 divided by 5a minus 3. And that's your answer. Then the diagram shows the speed time graph for part of a car's journey. The car travels a total distance of 1.01 kilometers in the 90 seconds. Calculate the value of v. So v is this speed over here. So in the 90 seconds, which is the total time of the graph, the car is traveling for 1.01 kilometers. So first, let's convert the distance into meters. 1 kilometer is 1000 meters. So 1.01 times 1000. We move the decimal 3 units to the right. That's going to be 1010 meters. Now that we have the distance in meters, we've already discussed that in a speed time graph, area under the graph is your distance. So if area under the graph is our distance, we can split this graph into 3 parts. This is part A, this is part B, this is part C. Part A is a trapezium, part B is a rectangle, and part C is a triangle. So you have 3 different shapes. 1010 meters equals to half times the height, which is 30 for the trapezium. Let me highlight that. This is your height of the trapezium times the sum of parallel sides. Parallel sides are this 24, and then we have this v. So 24 plus v. Then plus area of the rectangle, which is going to be 70 minus 30, 40 times v, because length times width. And then plus the triangle, half times the base, which is 20. This is the base, and the height is v again. So now we will solve this equation and figure out the value of v. So 1010 equals to 30 divided by 2 is 15 times 24 plus v plus 40v plus 10v, because 20 divided by 2 is 10. So that's going to be 15 times 24. So if we do 24 times 15, 0, 2, 120, placeholder 4, 2. So that's 0, 6, 3. 360 plus 15v plus 50v. 1010 minus 360 equals to 65v. 1010 minus 360 is going to be 650. So we can easily tell that v equals to 10 meter a second. So remember, in a speed time graph, area under the graph is your distance, slope is your acceleration, whereas in a distance time graph, your slope of the distance time graph gives you the speed. Calculate the deceleration of the car in the last 20 seconds. So this is basically this part over here. This is your last 20 seconds. So we have this difference as 20. This is 10. So deceleration is going to be 0 minus 10 divided by 90 minus 20. 70. That's going to be negative 10 over 20, which is negative 0.5 meter per second square. So that is your deceleration. You can skip the negative sign because it already says that it's deceleration, so you can even write it as 0.5 meter per second square. That's also going to be correct. And the diagram shows triangle A and triangle B. Describe fully the single transformation that maps triangle A onto triangle B. Triangle A onto triangle B is clearly an enlargement because the size of the shape has changed. The size only changes in enlargement. Once we figure out that, we need to figure out the scale factor and the center of enlargement. For the center of enlargement, you can join corresponding points on the shape and the point through which all of these lines cross, that is your center of enlargement, which is 1, 0. Center is 1, 0. And then for the scale factor, we will look at how corresponding lengths have changed. So if we look at this one was 2 and now it's 1. So that means the scale factor is 1 over 2. But since the direction of the shapes are opposite, like, they're in opposite quadrants, that means your scale factor is negative. If the shapes were in the same quadrant and their direction was also similar, then it would be a positive scale factor. So over here, scale factor is negative 1 over 2. That's how you describe this transformation. Then it says OAB and OCD are sectors of circles, each with center O and angle 60 degrees. Sector OAB has the radius 6 centimeters and sector OCD has a radius of 9 centimeters. The perimeter of the shaded region is A pi plus B centimeters. Find the value of A and B. So since we have the perimeter of the shaded region, that's A pi plus B. So shaded region is the two arcs and then DB plus CA. DB is going to be 9 minus 6, that's 3. So this is 3 and this is also 3. And then for the arc lengths, we can easily find that using the arc length formula. So 2 times 3, which is your DB and CA, plus 60 over 360 times 2 pi r, that's 6, that's the arc length AB, plus 60 over 360 times 2 pi times 9. That's the arc length for CD. So let's simplify this. A pi plus B equals to 6 plus the zeros get cancelled out. 6 get cancelled out, that's 6. Then again 6 gets cancelled out, so that's 2 pi. Zeros get cancelled out. 9 ones are 9. This becomes 4. 2 becomes 1. This becomes 2. 2, 1, and that's 3. Plus 3 pi. So A pi plus B is the same as 6 plus 5 pi. So A is 5 and B is 6. These are your answers. Then calculate the area of the shaded region, giving your answer in simplest form in terms of pi. So for the area, we will subtract the area of both the sectors. So shaded area is going to be area of the bigger sector, so 60 over 360 times pi times 9 squared minus 60 over 360 times pi times 6 squared. The zeros get cancelled out. 6 ones are 6, this becomes 6. Again, 6 ones are 6, this becomes 6. We can easily take pi over 6 common and we're left with 9 squared minus 6 squared inside the bracket. So that's 81 minus 386, which is going to give us 45. So pi over 6 times 45. 45 and 6 can be simplified. This is 2, this is 15. So 15 pi over 2 is your area of the shaded region in its simplest form. You can even write as a decimal, which would be 7.5 pi. Either way, it's going to be correct. Then the line L has equation 2y equals to 5x plus 3. Find the equation of the line perpendicular to L, which passes through the point 1, 4. So firstly, we need to convert this into slope-intercept form. That's going to be 5x over 2 plus 3 over 2 equals to y. Once it's in the slope-intercept form, we can identify the slope, which is the coefficient of x. That's 5 over 2. When two lines are perpendicular, the gradient of line 1 times the gradient of line 2 equals to negative 1. So if gradient of line 1 is 5 over 2, 5 over 2 times m2 equals to negative 1, which means m2 would be negative 1 times 2 over 5, and that is negative 2 over 5. That is the gradient of the line perpendicular to line L. They have told us that the line passes the point 1, 4, so you can use slope-intercept form or the point-slope form. Either will get the correct answer. If we use point-slope form, which is y minus y1 equals to m times x minus x1, y1 is 4, m is negative 2 over 5, and x1 is 1. Cross multiply to get rid of the fraction. So 5y minus 20 equals to negative 2x plus 2. 5y equals to negative 2x plus 2 plus 20. 5y equals to negative 2x plus 22. We can leave the answer as it is, or if we want to convert into slope-intercept form by making y the subject, that is also correct. Either way, they'll give you the marks because they haven't specified the format in the question. So this would also work. Then simplify x squared minus 9 over 5x squared minus 11x minus 12. So we have to simplify this algebraic fraction. In the numerator, we have two perfect squares being subtracted. When we have two perfect squares being subtracted, we can simplify it as a minus b times a plus b. We have x squared minus 9, which means a is x and 9 is 3 because 3 squared is 9. So x minus 3 times x plus 3. That is your numerator in its simplified form. For the denominator, it's a quadratic equation with 3 terms. So you can either use the quadratic formula or splitting the middle term to factorize this. For splitting the middle term, you multiply your coefficient of x squared with the constant. So for that, we'll do 5 times 12, that's 60. Then we write other factors of 60, which are 60 times 1, 30 times 2, 20 times 3, 6 times 10, and there's another one, 15 times 4. Yeah, these are all the factors of 6. So we have to select that set of factor, which when added or subtracted, gives us the middle term, which is 11. So we can see that only 15 minus 4 would give us 11. So what you will do is, you will rewrite the equation and split 11x into minus 15x plus 4x, and everything else comes as it is. As we said, we're using the method splitting the middle term. So we split the middle term into two other terms. If you rewrite those terms back, it goes back to the same equation. So we're just essentially rewriting the middle term into the things that can. So we're just essentially rewriting the middle term. Everything else is the same. Once you've done that, we're going to split the equation into two groups, and then we're going to factor those groups separately first. So let's write the numerator first. So in the first group, we have 5x common. So x minus 3 goes in the bracket. And in the second group, we have plus 4 common. Again, x minus 3 goes in the bracket. Now between 5x and 4, we have x minus 3 common. So when you take the x minus 3 common, we're left with 5x plus 4 in the other bracket. And as you can see, there's an x minus 3 in the numerator and denominator. So we cancel those out, and we're left with x plus 3 divided by 5x plus 4. This is your fraction. It's fully simplified form. We cannot further simplify it. You cannot cancel out the x's because, it's x plus 3 in the numerator and 5x plus 4 in the denominator. X is being added to something, so you can't cancel. So you cannot further cancel it. This is the fully simplified answer. Then it says expand and simplify. So we have the expansion of a triple bracket. You can begin with expanding two brackets first. I'm going to start with the first two. So x bracket 2x plus 5 minus 3 bracket 2x plus 5. And then we have the third bracket outside. So x times 2x is 2x squared. X times 5 is 5x. Remember, when you're multiplying the same variable, the power will change. But when you're adding the same variable, the power will not change. Minus 3 times 2x is minus 6x. Minus 3 times 5 is negative 15. And times x plus 2. Combine the like terms. That's going to be 2x squared minus x minus 15. Now we're going to multiply these terms with x plus 2. So x times 2x squared minus x minus 15 plus 2 times 2x squared minus x minus 15. 2x cubed minus x squared minus 15x plus 4x squared minus 2x minus 30. Again, combine the like terms. 2x cubed minus x squared plus 4x squared is plus 3x squared minus 15x minus 2x is minus 17x, and then minus 30. This is your expanded and simplified answer. So make sure to expand two brackets first and then multiply the result with the third bracket. Do not start with expanding all of the three brackets in one go. That's just going to mess up your calculation and get it wrong. Then it says sketch the graph of y equals to x minus 3 times 2x plus 5 times x plus 2. On the sketch, label the values where the graph crosses the axis. So we need our x-intercepts and the y-intercepts. For the x-intercept, you put y equals to 0. So that's going to give us 0 equals to x minus 3 times 2x plus 5 times x plus 2. We can put all of these brackets separately equal to 0, and that can give us the x-intercept for this equation. So x is 3, x is negative 5 over 2, and x is negative 2. These are our x-intercepts. For the y-intercept, if we notice, we're using the same equation as the first part. So the expanded form was y equals to 2x cubed plus 3x squared minus 17x minus 30. So y-intercept would be when x equals to 0. So that would be negative 30. So we have our x-intercepts and the y-intercept. So let's label this. Negative 30 is going to come over here. Positive 3 is here. Negative 2 is over here. And then negative 2.5, which is 5 over 2. So it's going to go like this. And that's your cubic curve. We have labeled our x-intercepts and the y-intercepts. Then we have a question on vectors. The diagram shows the quadrilateral OACB. Vector O is given as A, vector OB is B. OB is parallel to AC, and AC is twice of OB. So that means AC is going to be 2B. Find its simplest form in terms of A and B, vector AB. So AB is going to be AO plus OB. So AO is negative A because we're changing the direction. So the sign of the vector changes, and plus B. So negative A plus B is our AB. So OC can be OA plus AC. We have OA, we have AC. So OC is OA plus AC. So that's A plus 2B. That's our vector OC. Then it says X is the point on OC such that OX is to XC is 4:1. We have to find BX, giving the answer in simplest form in terms of A and B. So OX is to OC is 4:1. We have to find BX. OX is to XC is 4:1. So if you say this is X, this is 4 parts, this is 1 part. OC was already found to be A plus 2B. They're asking us to find BX, which is this one. So if we find OX, we already have OB, we can use that to find BX. Simple. So OX is going to be 4/5 of OC. So that's 405 times A plus 2B. So BX is going to be BO plus OX. So that's negative B plus 4/5 times A plus 2B. That's negative 5B plus 4A plus 8B over 5. That gives us 4A plus 3B over 5. That is vector BX in terms of A and B. Then we have surds. It says simplify root 300 minus root 48. So whenever we have surds and they have different numbers inside the root and they want us to add or subtract them, we first need to simplify those surds separately. So we need to prime factorize 300. 300 is 30 times 10. 30 is 6 times 5. 6 is 3 times 2. 5 is a prime number, so we cannot further break it down. 10 can be broken down into 5 and 2. Now, if you highlight the prime factors, that's 3, 2, 5, another 5, and then we have another 2. Similarly, for 48, that's 6 times 8. 6 is 3 times 2. 8 is 4 times 2, and 4 is 2 times 2. Let's highlight the prime factors over here. 3, 2, another 2, another 2, and then another 2. So if I rewrite the surds, 300 is basically 2 squared times 3 times 5 squared, and 48 is 2 to the power 4 times 3. So square root of a square number gives the number as it is. So basically, what I mean by that is if I square root 2 square, that's going to give me 2. That's going to be outside the root. Similarly, if I square root 5 square, that's going to give me 5. And that's also going to be outside the root. Inside the root, we're just left with 3. Now 2 to the power of 4 being square root is going to be 2 square. So 2 square comes outside and we have 3 inside the root. That's 10 root 3 minus 4 root 3. Now that the numbers inside the surd are exactly the same, we can subtract it, and that gives us 6 root 3. Before, we couldn't subtract them because the numbers were not the same. But now, since it's just 3 inside the root, we can subtract it. Then we have a question about rationalizing the denominator. So it says, give your answer in simplest form. So whenever we have a surd in the denominator like this, what you will do is you will multiply and divide the fraction by the denominator, but with the opposite sign in the middle. So originally we had root 7 plus 2. So we multiply and divide the fraction by root 7 minus 2. Now we multiply the numerator with the numerator and denominator with the denominator. So 6 times root 7 minus 2 and root 7 plus 2 times root 7 minus 2. Now this is very similar to difference of perfect squares, because difference of perfect square was a plus b times a minus b, and that is equal to a square minus b square. So similarly, root 7 plus 2 times root 7 minus 2 is the same as root 7 being squared minus 2 squared. So if we rewrite that, this expands, so 6 root 7 minus 12. So root 7 squared minus 2 squared, that's 6 root 7 minus 12 over square of square root is the number inside the root, so that's 7, and this is minus 4. That gives us 3. We can divide 6 by 3, which is 2. Nothing happens to the number inside the root, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. So 2 root 7 minus 4 is your final answer. And with that, we're done with the questions for this paper. If you have any questions or confusions at any point, please leave a comment below and I'll help you out. And if you understood everything, please like and subscribe, share this video with your friends. And don't forget to check out the paper 2 videos, which I'll be uploading soon.